This class is going to be the extension of report definition. So we have seen most of the major parts of report definition, like creating shortcuts, category, and how we can add the columns in the query tab, how we can add the filters, and even how we can display the custom section using the to provide the filters from the report definition, and paginations and actions, and even the data access, like how we can increase the timing, how we can increase the export report, and how we can increase the retrieval report. All these things we have seen. Even we have covered the join, like the normal inner join, left outer join, right outer join. All these things we have seen in the last class. So this class is going to be under the data access tab only. We do have few more options like declarative, index joins, associations, and subreports. So we have seen this, but we would have never used in our requirement. So because we don't know the purpose of it, that is the reason we would have never used it. So I'm going to cover these three parts only today. So first thing is like the declarative index join. This name itself says like we are going to join our it's kind of when we want to fetch the result from some index table. We know like the purpose of index table. So when we want to optimize the properties or expose the properties for the for particular report, what we used to do, we used to create one index table, and in this table we used to expose the properties so that we can use those properties in the reporting. So that is where I use this index. We can talk about one example. So I'll say like we have one work class where we will have all the work object. So we can take the name of the work classes, work table. So I will show in the okay. So in the work class, we have a table called this is the table. Okay. So this is the table name, work table name, or any table name we can take. I'm giving this as an example. So I'm assuming this is my work object table where I will be storing all of my work object. Now here in this we can have columns like ID, name, phone, address, etc. So we can have a number of columns. Now, so for if I want to build some report for this work table, so I'm going to create one report and this work table like work report. So we all know this report. When we want to generate some report, we should be having all the whatever columns we want to use in our report, it should be optimized or exposed in the particular table. So we all knows that. So if we have only 5 columns like this in the work table, what we can do, we can directly optimize or expose these columns in this table like this, and we can use these columns in our report. What about if we have like 500 columns? We can't expose all 500 columns in this table, right? So because it will, even though the optimization improves the performance, if we try to expose everything in this class, even that will affect the performance. And we should not expose all the columns in the work table. For this purpose, what we can do, we can create one index class like work. So example I'm taking, I'm going to have one class as index-work. So here I'm going to have one table mapping. So this is going to be index work table, something like this. So this class has a table mapping. So this is the table we have for this class. So index work table. So now in this table, what we can do, we can create a index rule for this. So how we usually create the index table. So if I have 500 columns for work class, example, we can take some work div or just fw application name w and the test tab, something like this. For work, I'll take this as my work class. Okay, now I want to expose the columns in this work class. So how we will do, we will create one index. So we will take test work index. This is going to be my index name. So for which table I want to create index? For work table, because for work table only I have 500 columns. So I can't expose all 500 columns in this work class, because we are using this for the case creation as well. So I don't want to touch this for just a reporting purpose. So what we can do, so in this class we need to create this index, and we are going to give, so which class we are going to save this result, this this work class result we are going to save in this index work, like this. So what it will do, so whenever we create case, whenever we create case for this work class, and it will call this index rule, and whenever it is getting committed to this db, the work db, this rule will get triggered, and in the work table, that is the index work table, like if you have like these columns, the particular column I want to use for my reporting, like other than this, so these columns are already exposed here, so I can use from here itself. So I'm going to have some few columns like with number, street name, city, state, country. So these columns I want to expose. So what I will do, I will try to do the mapping in this index table. That is, I'm going to create new properties for these columns, and I will do mapping for this column with the column which we have in work table. Something like I might have column in this table like this. We can follow same name or different naming also. If I have column like this in the work class, I have to have the same column, or we can use a different name as well, something like this, because anyway we are going to do the mapping. So in the mapping we can do the mapping like something like this: street number value is, this value is going to get saved here. This mapping we will be doing in the index table. So this is how we create the indexing. So now as we already discussed, so now I'm going to build one report under this work class, and I want to add few columns from this index table, because I don't have those those columns exposed in my work class. So what we will do, we will create one report in work class, that is report definition, and in the declare index we can include this index which we have created for the work table, and we can include the other columns which we exposed. So these are the columns we exposed in index table. So we can include this here. This is how we will use declarative index joins. So now I can show you. I don't have proper data with me, but still I can show you how we can add. But I'm not sure whether this will work because I'm just using the cloud environment, so I don't have proper table configurations here. So now what I'm going to do is I have address class where we will be having the address information. So now I do created one declare index. I can show you that. Okay, this is my declare index. So this is how we used to have, right? We will create a context class our as our address because I'm creating for address only, and we have to mention our index class. So I have created this index class as well. Under index class, I created this property street2, and I exposed that property as well. So optimized it. So now from this, that is from our class, our address class to our index class, I'm assigning this value. This is how it will be. So now I'm going to call this declare index in my report. If we go here, if I try to add this index table here, in, so this will get populated. You do save. See, it will not get added. So many people have seen this issue. The reason is before including our index here, we have to add the column from index in our query. Tap that, then only we will be able to use the declare index. So like this dot, what is the property I'm going to use? Street2. You just try to add the street2, and here we can say street2. Before saving, just go back here, index, that's it. Okay, the reason is I just did something. I tried to do the mapping for the different class, but it is not working. I'll just go to database table. I created the mapping, but it is not working. Let me remove this. Now I'll go back to this report definition. Yeah, it got saved. But still, when I try to run this, it will not populate the result because, okay, the second class we have seen, right, the index table class, I just created the class, but the mapping and all I didn't do properly. So that is the reason it is throwing error. But this is how you add your declarative index to your report definition. So when you have proper configuration in the actual project, and if you try to add this column from your index table, so it will work as expected because I tried that in my application. It was working fine. Since it is cloud, few of the configurations exactly we can't achieve because we need to do full setup. So that is the reason we are unable to achieve this. You can try this in your application and see.